Hello! We are still in the midst of Unit 1 and Chapter 1 on data analysis. We are still analyzing categorical data, but now we are going to move into two-way tables. So in this video, I want you to be able to read a two-way table, to calculate both marginal and joint relative frequencies from a two-way table and then add them into a two-way table, and also calculate conditional relative frequencies from a two-way table. Basically, what we're going to look at is you need to be able to read these things and then use them to calculate various proportions. So how do you analyze data when you have a data set that involves two different categorical variables? That is what a two-way table is for. All right, if you are looking at something like this, here we have a data set where we have numbered our respondents and kept track of whether or not they are in an environmental club and whether or not they own, rent, or have never used a snowmobile. A two-way table is a way of taking all of this data and counting it up so that we can figure out how many people fall into each category. People who aren't in the environmental club and what they've done with snowmobiles, as well as people who are in the environmental club and have owned snowmobiles. It's an easy way of partitioning all of those people and figuring out who fits into each set of categories. And once we have that, it might be nice to also include our totals. All right, that's what makes this a marginal frequency table, is once we have those totals in there. Honestly, having the totals is really important, makes all of your math much easier. I would very much recommend adding in those totals if you don't get them in the first go around. Now you'll notice these tables are based on counts. That's because these are just regular frequency tables. But counts can be hard to analyze, so sometimes we want to look at relative frequency and instead look at proportions. All right, now there are two different kinds of proportions we might look at. We might be interested in what's called a marginal relative frequency. That really looks at what percent of the total is in this one category. What percent of the total is in this one category? Versus a joint relative frequency is going to figure out what percent of the total is in this and this other category both at the same time, all right? And then we can take all of those frequencies and we can combine them into a single table. So what do I mean when I say that? If we're looking at our information about people in the environmental club and people who use snowmobiles, we know that our marginal frequencies are going to be these, the ones that are in the margins. It's really the totals. All right, when we talk about marginal relative frequencies, we're talking about what proportion of the total is each of these individual total values. I'm actually going to be interested in what percent of 1526 is 657. So mathematically, that means I take the 657 out of 1526, divide that on my calculator, and I get 0.430537, etc. And for accuracy right now, I'm just going to round that to the nearest thousandth. I might also be interested in what percent 305 is of 1526. And when I plug that into my calculator, I'm getting 0.1998, which is approximately 0.2. If we were going to build a table, we would go through, we would also find all of our other proportions, and that would give us a table that looks kind of like what we have here. Now you'll notice that only works for the outside edge, right? If we want to find the things in the middle, those are the joint relative frequencies. For instance, I might want to know what percent of our total have never been in an environmental club and never used a snowmobile. So I'm going to take that 445 and put it over 1526. And when I plug that into my calculator, I get 0.2916120, or approximately 0.292. Just like with the marginal relative frequencies, we can do all of the calculations for all of our remaining squares in here in the middle, just by taking each number and putting it over the total. I could record all of those numbers inside of my table, just like before. I can also then put in all of my marginal frequencies as well, and you'll notice these add both across and down to get to the proper totals. The only places where they don't are places where there may have been a rounding error here or there, particularly because we're trying to round to the nearest. That does kind of mess things up a little bit, but overall, they should all add up. And in the end, if you were to add up your totals column and or your totals row, you should be able to get yourself to 1 or 100%. Now, these kinds of tables are very, very helpful. They give you a lot of information quickly, and they make it so that it can be really easy to figure out any sort of particularly probabilities and things. We end up using these a lot for that. But sometimes they can be difficult to work with because it's very hard to see how one group compares to another. For instance, it's really hard to look at things and decide how do people who aren't in the environmental club and their snowmobile use compare to people who are in the environmental club. When we look at the counts, we can see, sure, there are more people who have never used a snowmobile who are not in the environmental club, but at the same time, is that the same all the way across the board, or is it just because there are more people who are not in the environmental club? For these kinds of questions, it's really useful to use what's called conditional relative frequency. Now, these are really just asking yourself, what percent of this group also fits into this category? For instance, a question like, what percent of environmental club members in the sample are also snowmobile owners? Or if I were going to put it in Algebra 1 terms, what percent of environmental club is an owner? So that means if we're doing like is over of equals percent over 100, right? What percent of all of our environmental club people also own a snowmobile? And since we're doing is over of equals percent over 100, part over whole, right? 16 out of 305 is going to be equal to 0.052459. Now, for this kind of information, it isn't feasible to put it back into the table because it would only be able to be read either downward or across. It wouldn't actually work in both directions at once like we have for all of our other percents. So instead, we'd probably just make 2 columns and just keep track of our data. Now, in Chapter 1, we aren't going to have a lot to go on, but as we go through, we're going to find ourselves comparing these different distributions because we can see 36.4% have never used a snowmobile, 40.7% rent a snowmobile, 22.9% own a snowmobile, and that's of all people who are not in the environmental club. Those numbers are very different from people who are in the environmental club, right? We can see as we compare across that almost 70% of environmental club members have never used a snowmobile, as opposed to only about 36%. That's a very big difference. It's almost twice as many by percent of environmental club members. That means that we might want to look into that data a little bit more. We might want to think about what causes those distinctions, what makes all of those changes take place, right? That's going to be stuff that we look at as we compare these columns that might make us make new choices statistically. Now, some tips for reading these on the AP exam, because you're pretty much guaranteed that there will be some two-way tables on the AP exam. It's a great way to display data. When you're comparing groups of different sizes, be sure that you're using relative frequencies. Use percents, use proportions, instead of the raw counts. It makes it a lot easier. Also, make sure that you avoid statements like, more club members never use snowmobiles, when you actually mean a greater percentage of club members never use snowmobiles, right? More implies a number more. It implies we're talking about counts. If you're talking about percents, you need to be clear that you are talking about percents and say a greater percentage or a greater proportion. That language really matters. It's a very big deal. And we've now reached the end of the video, so I hope that now you feel like you can read a two-way table, you can calculate your marginal and joint relative frequencies. It sounds scary, right? Those sound like really big vocabulary words. Actually, it's just put all your percentages into a table. No biggie, right? And calculate your conditional relative frequencies from a two-way table. Those conditional frequencies are called conditional frequencies because we're saying of the ones who meet this category's conditions, how many do this thing, right? So you look at a smaller subgroup of your data instead of putting everything out of the like total. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in our next class.